She should also be able to select appropriate words and sentences according to the proper social setting, audience, situation, and subject matter. To organize thoughts in a meaningful and logical sequence. And use the language quickly and confidently with few unnatural pauses, which is referred to as fluency. Well, this is theory, but in practice, in fact, when we are in class, so many teachers believe that teaching speaking may be difficult, and I totally agree with them. Because speaking out loud in front of other people, especially in foreign language, can be nerve-wracking for everyone. It can be intimidating and frustrating. So what should be done is that the speaking activity should be well prepared in advance so that both teacher and students enjoy the activity. Well, generally speaking, before a speaking activity or to lay the ground for the speaking activity.
Mrs. Bouhlel, can I interrupt you for a moment? Sorry for doing this. It seems that you are not sharing your presentation. Can you go back to sharing your presentation again? Can you do it again?
All right, so I'm back here. And now?
Yeah, it's fine right now.
It's fine. Should I have it full screen or should I keep it like that?
It's up to you. If you would like to go full screen, please do it.
What can you see now? Can you see my screen? It's full screen.
Yeah, it's there. So
I was saying that speaking out loud can be really nerve-wracking and frustrating. Now, what happens if we ask the students to pair up or to work in teams, okay, or to work in groups? Because these are kind of things that can lay the ground for a successful speaking activity. Now, what happens, in fact, in reality, we have blank stares, troublemakers reaching for each other, the shy students trying hard to become invisible, and once in pairs or in groups, shy and less good students are tempted to let their partners do all the work. So what should be done? What should be done is that we should engage all the students. Now, for this, I think that the teacher has a lot of work to do in advance, I mean at home, so that the speaking activity can be a successful one and that everyone can enjoy this activity. I move to my next slide.
Please do, yeah.
All right. How to engage your students in speaking activities. Now, because speaking is
it seems that you're not there. We are still having the same slide, so.
Maybe.
Yeah, exit full screen and then.
What about now? Now, would you tell me?
We are still waiting for your screen to show up. Do it again, please.
So, okay.
And it would be better for this time to not to go full screen.
Yeah, I think it's all right. So we'll have this.
Yeah, thank you. I'm sorry for that.
No, it's okay. Technical problems happen. Fine. So now you see my screen, right?
Yeah, it's there. So it's
okay. So how to engage students in speaking activities? Now, as you may see here, because speaking is a fundamental language skill and speaking is the primary way in which you communicate information, we need to have the students get motivated and engaged by being creative and innovative, preparing activities that break with the classroom routine and laying the groundwork for the speaking activity. So it's the whole work should be prepared in advance by the teacher, of course. Let's move to the next slide. Now, the speaking opportunities. Generally, we have stand up in front of a class and speak. So the students goes to the board, if you like, by himself and gives a kind of talk or something like that. Or to stand up in front of the class with partner and present something together. Now, this is kind of pair work. or be part of a group presenting a role play, or to take part in class debate. Now I have prepared 10 activities, 10 speaking activities that I have done in class myself. Number 1 is called De Bono 6 Thinking Hats. This is a method created by Edward De Bono, who is a British physician, a psychologist, author and inventor. So he originated the term lateral thinking and wrote the book 6 Thinking Hats. And he is the proponent of thinking as a subject in teaching of thinking as subject in schools. Well, the whole method consists of having 6 hats with different colors, as you can see. Color number 1 is white. Now we have to provide a white hat. The white hat is for the facts. The red hat is for the emotions and opinions. The yellow hat is for the good points, what you like about it. The black hat for the bad points, the mistakes you can find, the problems if you like. The green hat for creativity, what if there was any other way or what are the solutions suggested. And the blue hat about time management and organization. What I did is that I did provide 6 hats with these 6 colors and invited the students, 6 students, to sit like this. Can you see my screen now?
Yeah, it's there. So please go ahead. Yeah. Carry on.
So these are 3 different classes, 3 different groups. Every student has to put on a hat and has to adapt, if you like, his way of thinking according to the color of the hat he is wearing. So if he is wearing the yellow or the green or the red, so that was the point. And these pictures were about, if you like, an activity about libraries. We're discussing the idea of libraries. Are libraries good? Why don't people go to the library anymore? And we had these 6 students and they were thinking about the positive things about the library, the definition of library, talking about their emotions, the problems with library, and so on. Then what was challenging about this activity is when we had to change the hats. So I took off the hats and then I just redistribute them, if you like, randomly. And then students had really to focus and to concentrate with the new idea he has to talk about. There was no note taking. So they had really to think, focus, and then speak. And it was a great idea and a great activity that the students really enjoyed. And when we finished the activity, I asked this question: what was the feeling having this hat on top of your head? And they all answered, we felt a kind of connection between the hat and our ideas that we should express. Now that was idea number 1. Idea number 2 is comic strips and cartoons. Because cartoons are powerful teaching tools and can help students tell a complex story in few images, provoke thought on events and issues, practice already acquired vocabulary, comment upon characters and give feedback, I think we need to have some comic strips for students. The picture you show here, or you see here, sorry, shows 2 students trying to, if you like, tell the story in the comic strips in their own words. I move to the 3rd one, if you like. The 4th corners. Now, as you can see in the picture, this is a classroom, and what we do is, if you like, I will read. This technique stimulates student learning through movement and discussion. So students are presented with a controversial statement or are asked a question. In each of the 4 corners of the classroom, an opinion or response is posted. Students express their opinion or response by standing in front of one of 4 statements and then talking to others about why they have chosen their corner. The 4 corners promotes listening, verbal communication, critical thinking, and decision making. I have implemented this method, if you like, in 2 sessions. The first session was about environment. I have pinned 4 pictures in the 4 corners of the classroom.
So this is a reminder for Mrs. Bouhlel. Is this noise coming from your presentation, or is it background noise from one of our attendees?
Presentation, no.
It's in the presentation.
No, it is not.
No, it is not. Yeah, thank you. So this is a reminder to all our attendees. So please mute your microphones. Let me see. Mr. Khabouchi, can you please mute your microphone? Mr. Khabouchi? Okay, I'm going
to mute all the microphones.
Yeah, I'm going to do it. Yeah, I'm going to mute all. Sorry for this interruption, Mrs. Bouhlel. Please go ahead. Mrs. Bouhlel, it seems that
you need to give her permission.
I'm here.
Okay. So sorry for this interruption. So please go ahead with your presentation.
So, so the 4 corners method, it's about, as I said, pinning 4 pictures in the 4 corners of the classroom about the most dangerous threats to the environment. And I asked the students, which of these do you think is the most dangerous threat to the environment? And to express their opinion, they had to go and stand next to the picture they think it is or it represents the most dangerous threat to the environment. Then, when they are done, I will ask them to, if you like, to give their opinion and to justify their choice, if you like. Now, the second picture was when I was teaching a song, and the song was about, if you like, struggles in life and what we should do in life. And I have given these 4 numbers, 11, 20, 30, and 60, and I pinned them in the 4 corners of the classroom. And I asked them, which age is your favorite age? Being 11 years old, 20 years old, 30 years old, or 60 years old? And then I asked them to justify their answers. I moved to number 4. Number 4, letters. Now, I have my students receive letters in their names, and every envelope contains an element of nature asking for help. Every student has to tell how that natural element is threatened and suggest some solutions to help save this natural element. I have invented, if you like, this idea just to break with the classroom routine. The students felt really excited to receive these envelopes with their names on, and they opened the envelope to find a picture and to find their names, and this picture, if you like, asking for help. I gave them a few minutes to think. They were free to take notes, but then they had to speak about their opinion, of course, related to the picture they have received. And they kept them, you know, they kept them as kind of souvenir. Number 5, role play. Well, role play can be prepared in class or can be prepared at home, kind of project work. Role plays, of course, students have to prepare kind of script for a specific role play related to a topic that they have studied in class. And I think it's a very nice activity that can boost their self-confidence and help them really speak English. Activity number 6, activity 6 is catch the ball and continue my story. I did this with the 4th formers. We were studying Shakespeare and other short stories. And on that day, we said, today we have a game. Stand up, everyone. And I gave them a red ball. And I said, the first one who will have the ball should start a story, make up a story, make up characters, settings, event. And then when you are finished with inventing this first scene, if you like, throw the ball to any other students. The student who catches the ball should carry on the story. To have a successful activity, students should really listen to each other and should really remember what they have learned about stories and the elements of stories. Here I'm talking about events, climax, and problem solving and everything. I move to 7, projects. Now, projects, I think, are very good ideas and very good activities to help students speak English. In the first picture, we have students who have prepared a poster on bullying, and they presented it in class orally. The second one, PowerPoint. And the third one, students who made surveys on the importance of reading in school. They have asked about 200 students, and they made their statistics, and then they presented it all in class orally without any notes, without reading from papers. That was marvelous. It really did boost their self-confidence. Should I move to number 8?
Please do.
Number 8, international online conferences. Well, I did that last year, and I am intending to carry on with this experience. It's a marvelous experience. Here we see we have some live conferences with other students from different schools from different countries. The first one is a country from India, the second one a country from Nepal, and the third one a country, students from Nepal and students from Palestine. Students had to speak and had to communicate in English. They asked each other questions, and they talked about themselves, they presented themselves. I think it was really fun. Next one, and the last one, not the last, before the last, I'm sorry. Story in moments. Reading into drawing, into speaking or writing. What I did is, I started this activity with a game. I have brought 3 boxes to the classroom, and I have hidden them. And I asked the students to sit in groups and look for a box. They spent a few minutes looking for a box, and they were excited to find the box. Once they found the box, they opened the box and they found part of a story in the box. And the activity was, or the task was, to draw the situation given to them. So I have given them about 10 to maybe 13 minutes to draw the situation provided for them. It was really interesting and really fun for the students. Then what happened? I called a speaker from every group to the board. They show the picture, as you can see here, and they told the story. Then what I did is to exchange, if you like, these pictures. I mean, picture from group 1 goes to group 2, and then from group 2 goes to group 3, and from group 3 goes to group 4, and then they try, as I said, to make up the story. So that was activity number 9. Activity number 10, giving talks. Sitting in groups as usual, students or groups are given situations or ideas to talk about and to discuss. I have given them big white sheets to jot down their notes on. Then, when they have finished, we pin those sheets on the board, and every a speaker from every group goes to the board and explains his or their, if you like, point of view. So in group, students are given particular situations related to cloning. This is the activity I did, or any other topic. They have to give their opinion on the issue and then share it with the rest of the class in a talk. This activity can pave the way to a very interesting class debate. I also started this activity with a game. The activity starts with students looking for hidden boxes. Every box contains different case related to cloning. And this activity boosts self-confidence and critical thinking. Now, to wrap up, just more ideas, if you like, that we can practice in class: discussion, class debate, interviews. Now, I've got this new idea to interview one's future self. I think that this will be an exciting speaking activity. Games, and another idea that I also would like to do in my class, which is draw my dream or draw a picture. And that's it.
Thank you. Thank you, Mrs. Bouhlel, for this impactful presentation on speaking. I think we have a special guest in our attendees list. We have Randall. Are you there, Randall?
Oh, how are you today?
Fine. Welcome, Randall with us. So it's our pleasure to have you with us on board. So we'd like to hear from you, Randall. You've joined this meeting, I think, earlier. So we'd like to start with you concerning the maybe the comments on the first presentation.
Well, I just caught this, I just joined right before Mona was speaking, so I'm not sure if there was another presentation before that on the internet, or are you referring to something else?
Yeah, I think we today in this third monthly webinar episode, we are live on Facebook. So.
Well, it's just a pleasure to listen. I'm always excited about hearing new ideas, listening to Mona and sharing her presentation about the different ideas on engaging and speaking. And I would be interested for everyone in finding out how, Mona, do other people get engaged in such international projects? You mentioned about extending learning beyond the walls of the classroom. How did you go about actually connecting with people on the internet to set up such international projects?
Okay, so the first question from Randall. Did you get that, Mrs. Bouhlel?
No, I didn't, because I think it was cut somehow. I couldn't hear the question.
Oh, sorry, Mona.
Randall, could you repeat it again, please?
Absolutely. My question, Mona, you were talking about setting up international exchanges with classes and in other parts. For those people that would be interested in doing something similar, how do you go about finding people to do such projects? Because I think it's a wonderful idea.
Yeah, it is. It is, in fact, a wonderful idea. And I can't really describe how excited my students were. Well, in fact, just go on Facebook. There are so many groups for connecting classrooms, or as part of the International School World, groups. You can find so many people asking for partnership, or just asking for, if you like, a kind of international exchange. They can, some of them would like to have Skype conference. Some of them would just like to exchange videos. I have recently received an invitation, if you like, a kind of request from a teacher from India asking for exchanging videos, because they are teaching online, so this Skype conference maybe wouldn't be very easy to organize. So that's it. Just go on Facebook and look for groups for connecting classrooms.
It's as easy as that, yeah. We'd like also, thank you, Randall, for joining us today. It's a real pleasure to have you on board with us. We maybe, thank you.
Thank you for joining.
We have another. Yeah, go ahead, Mrs. Bouhlel, yeah?
Yeah, I just thank you for joining, Randall, and thank you for having me today. So if there are
it's our pleasure to have you with us today. We've really enjoyed having you talking about the different tasks on speaking. We could easily tell that your students are enjoying every bit of your lessons. So they seem engaged, they seem motivated, and I think you're doing a great job. I think there's someone else who wants to say something or to ask a question. Mrs. Hayat Sultani, please unmute your microphone first and then contribute or ask a question or add a comment, whatever you want to say. Are you there? Mrs. Hayat Sultani.
Hello, everybody.
Hello, welcome.
Hello.
Welcome on board.
Thank you very much for this meeting. Nice to meet you all. I'd like to ask a question. It's in fact a comment. Amid this pandemic crisis, how can we adjust these pair and group speaking activities so that teachers may realize or can realize social distancing?
Okay, can I share my screen again?
Yes, please.
Please do, yeah. Yeah, the platform is yours, so please do it if you want to present something.
I think I can't find it.
It's okay. If you can answer the question and then maybe go back to your screen.
Okay. In fact, we can deal, in fact, with group work and pair work. First of all, we have to make sure that students are really putting on their masks. So I always remind them to put on their masks, so not remove their masks at all. Then when they sit in groups, I'll try to put the desks in the middle, okay, and the students sit around. And generally, it's better to have small groups, groups of 3 and 4, no more. Okay, just put the desks in between and the students will sit around, and there will be some distance. We can manage that.
Excuse me, Miss Monet, excuse me? Yes?
Yes.
Sorry?
Yeah.
Okay, there is a small remark here, is that throughout this division of classes into groups and dividing groups into other groups, so there will be a very small group. I'm teaching 3 and 4 pupils in one group. So I may say that there is a little competition between pupils through while teaching third-hour sessions. And I cannot divide 2 or 3 pupils into 2 groups at least, or 4 pupils into 2 groups. This makes, throughout this decision or whatever, this makes less competition, less motivation between pupils. This is a remark, but we cannot do something else throughout or amid this pandemic situation, of course.
Yeah, you are right. Yeah, you are absolutely right. Teaching 3 or 4 students in one group, especially in the third hour, I think this really cannot help doing group work. So maybe here, I don't know, maybe I can think of having a game that can be played individually. So we don't really have to have a group work.
Great. Thank you, Mrs. Bouhlel, and thank you, Mrs. Hayat Sultani, for your question and your remark. We have Mrs. Zurgari, my colleague, Mrs. Zurgari, and then Mrs. Bushra Sherni, then Mrs. Basma Marawi, and Mrs. Sinda Twiki. So let's start with our colleague, Mrs. Camelia Zurgari. We didn't We didn't hear from her from the beginning of today's webinar. So welcome on board, Mrs. Zorgari.
Hello. Okay, I'm sorry for missing the start of the webinar. I just had some technical issues, Mrs. Wina. I'm sorry. Well, thank you for the great and creative ideas that you shared. I've been listening to you. I just missed the beginning. Thanks for the mighty efforts. I really loved the ideas that you presented, and I can see great classroom atmosphere and engaged and motivated students. And that is not really surprising from an international school award coordinator. Thank you for the great efforts. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you, Mrs. Zugari. Before we go back to you to introduce our second speaker, we'd like to hear from 2 or 3 other maybe attendees. Mrs. Bushra, Miss yes, or Mrs. I'm not sure. Yes. Bushra Shani. Yes, so welcome on board.
Thank you so much for accepting my request. First of all, thank you. I'd like to thank all of you for this insightful and inspiring presentation, Madame Bouhlel.
Thank you.
And thank you. And it was an opportunity for me to discover this. To be honest, this is the first time to be into this technique. So I'll try to use it in my classrooms with my students. Do you hear me, please?
Yeah. Yes, it's okay. Thank for the time being. The quality of the sound is not that good, but for the time being, it's okay. So please go ahead.
So this is the first time to discover the Bouhlel techniques and how to use it in classroom, and I'll try to use in my with my students to promote interactions and speaking activities and verbal interactions for them. So thank you again for this new techniques. For me, it's for new techniques.
Thank you, Mrs. Bushra Shani. So we're glad that the impact has started from today. So we're glad that teachers are going to try some of the techniques that Mrs. Bouhlel has mentioned in her presentation. That's really impactful and that's insightful, and this is interesting to hear from teachers like you, Mrs. Bushra Shani. I would like also to hear from Mrs. Basma Marawi.
Yes. Hello everybody.
Hello, welcome on board.
Thank you very much. So I would like to thank Mrs. Mona Bouhlel for this really inspiring.
Thank you very much.
I haven't started from the beginning, but I started when you started with stories, and what you said is really interesting. Here, I'd like to answer Mr. Randall's question about how to find schools online to collaborate with or to do global projects with.
Yes.
So, other than the Facebook groups, which are now many, we have also Microsoft, which is offering events from time to time, like Skype in the classroom, like sometimes. Essentially Skype in the classroom, or some Skypes where students can guess, I forgot the name, but where students can guess the country of the partner, mystery Skype, where pupils can ask each other, even for beginners, yes or no questions, and then they guess the country of the partner school. There is also a platform called I-Earn. I-Earn is full of projects already online from which students can select, or teachers can select students for their projects to the students. There is a variety of projects, even in mathematics, not only in English. And we also have connecting classrooms with the British Council, which is a wealth of schools online, and they are all willing to work with any teacher who is willing to engage his students in global projects.
Yeah, you are right.
Thank you, Mrs. Basma Marawi. Would you be kind enough to share some of the things that you've just mentioned via the chat box. Would you please write them in the chat box so that all the attendees would benefit from your ideas or the things that you've just mentioned?
Yes, okay.
To hear from, for the time being, yeah, thank you for doing that. So I would like to hear from Mrs. Sinda Triki, Mrs. Wilhazi, and Mrs. Jihan Abdelwahed before we move on to our second speaker. So Mrs. Sinda Triki, are you
Hi,
there?
everybody. How are you?
Welcome on board.
Yes, I'm here. Hi.
Yes. Hello.
I just want to thank Mrs. Muna for the inspiring presentation. It was really formative and very, very interesting. Just one question about the motivation or the engagement mainly of shy pupils. What is or what are the impacts of such presentations on shy students? How did they get motivated and engaged? What are the differences between a normal speaking, for example, test or speaking, and speaking via games or via story or via one of these activities?
Well, thank you for asking this question. Can I answer?
Yeah, please do.
Right. Okay. All right. Well, in fact, when we use games, when we start speaking activity with a game, the less, if you like, good students and the shy students will feel a kind of interest, kind of suspense. What is this game about? What am I going to do? What is my role in this game? So, and once they become engaged in the activity, now I have mentioned the drawing activity or the looking for the box activity, they start to have some self-confidence built. Okay, then this self-confidence will be developed through group work and of course through the monitoring teaching.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so be there. The teacher should always be there, if you like, to back up these students. They don't really have, if they are so shy or really low achievers, we don't really intimidate them by giving them very long speeches or very long talks. Just have them speak just for a little bit, just to, if you like, to boost their self-confidence. And things, of course, with slowly, these students will do better in class, and they will really enjoy your English class even better.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Bouhlel. Maybe you would like to hear Mrs. Zurgari. Are you there?
Yes, I'm listening. I am, and I'm wondering
what do you
about.
Think? Yeah. What do you think?
More and more
have more
colleagues who want to participate or ask questions.
Yeah. So, what do you think? Shall we give them some time to answer raise their maybe questions or their points, or shall we move on to our second speaker? What do you think?
If they promise to be to the point and so brief, that's fine. Let's just finish with the 3 questions or maybe just appreciation we have. Okay.
Yeah. Can we have questions? The 3 questions, and then you give your answers. You take notes, and then you give your answers later on. So let's. There's some echo. Mrs. Wilhazi. So let's start with you.
Okay. Good evening, everybody.
So Mrs. Wilhazi, then Mrs. Jihan Abdelwahed, and then Mr. Fathi Al-Taib. So Mrs. Wilhazi for the time being.
Yes, okay. Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Okay, so I would like to thank you, Mrs. Bouhlel, for all these creative activities. They are really inspiring, and these activities that you assigned will really enhance speaking and encourage our pupils to speak. Personally, I learned something new with you. The first activity, which is the Bono 6 thinking hats, it's very interesting, and the four corners. But I would like to ask you a question about the sixth activity that you assigned, which is catching the ball and continue the story. So in this activity, did you use it as a warm-up activity, paving the way for a main activity, or just you use it to consolidate what you have taught before? For example, did you teach them how to write a short story before with its different features like the stability, the climax, and the resolution? Okay, so this is my question. And just out of curiosity, when you assign this activity, did your pupils manage to tell those stories?
Yeah, okay. Mrs. Bouhlel, so please give your answer later on.
Nice question.
Yeah, so you have to remember the question and then give the answer later on. Mr. Fathi Taif, try please I kindly ask all of you to be precise and concise.
Yeah, okay. So first, thank you, Mrs. Muna Bouhlel, and I can tell you congratulations in advance for getting the International School Award in the next 2 weeks. This is the first thing. This is the good news for you and for your school because of your great job. Second, I want to ask you, how are these practices impacting your own professional profile? So this is my question. How are these practices, this creativity, all this exchange, etc., and the activity you're designing are impacting your own skills and your own professional profile? What did they add to you professionally? That's my question.
Thank you, Mr. Fathi Taif. Maybe one more question from Mrs. Sane, and then we give you the floor or the platform to answer these questions. Yeah, Mrs. Sane, go. Yeah, Mrs. Sane, you are on board. Unmute your microphone first, Mrs. Sane. Okay.
Hello, everyone. Hello. Thank you for these opportunities. I just wanted to thank Mrs. Mune for the inspiring presentation, and that's it.
Thank you. Thank you for that. Maybe one last comment or question from Mrs. Bushra Sherni. Please try to be concise and precise. Unmute your microphone first if you'd like to ask a question. Okay, shall I, Mrs. Bouhlel, have you taken some notes about the questions, or shall I remind you of the questions?
Yes, Mr. Sherni.
Okay.
Yes, I have. Thank you. Thank you so much. So, thank you so much, Mr. Bouhlel. Thank you. So, thank you. Now, currently, I'm teaching ESP, English for Specific Purposes, and I'm teaching, let's say, mechanical engineering students. How can I help them? How can I invest one of these techniques in promoting verbal communications among groups of students, according, for example, let's say, the Bouhlel strategies?
Thank you, Mrs. Bushra Sherni. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes.
Mr. Sherni, I think we should give some time to Mrs. Bouhlel to breathe and think about those questions to answer them later on. And let's have our second speaker presented. Okay.
Okay. So Mrs. Bouhlel,
thank you, Mrs. Muna. So you took some time. Okay. I think you took some notes. I mean, of those questions. Get ready to answer all the questions you have later on, okay?
Okay.
Okay, so thank you. Ask Mrs. Bouhlel to answer the questions.
Okay, we'll be back to you later. Yes, please.
Yes, so it's time, I think, to introduce our second speaker today.
Mrs. Ida Zlitni.
Ida Zlitni.
Just check whether she's here with us and she's ready. Yes, Mrs. Ida. Hello.
Yeah, I'm here. Hello, everybody.
Okay. Hello.
Hi, Camelia. Do you
hear me? Yes, we can hear you. Let me first introduce you to the audience first. Yes, Mrs. Zlitni. Okay.
Okay, go on.
Okay, so Mrs. Aida is a well-seasoned teacher of English from Sfax Pioneer Secondary School. She graduated from École Normale Supérieure de Sousse and started teaching in 1989. So this means she has got an experience of over 30 years. Okay, she has conducted several demo lessons on a variety of topics, and she is passionate about teaching and never hesitates to try out new ideas and innovative practices. She has always believed in her students' high potential and worked on yearly projects with them, like, for instance, school magazines, an English club, and interactive content, okay, mainly recently. Mrs. Zlitni will tell us about some web tools she has used recently, and she will tell us how the COVID-19 has made her rethink her teaching approaches and focus on educational technologies to engage her students and make learning more interactive and collaborative. Okay, the floor is yours, Mrs. Aida. Okay, so there you are.
Thank you, Camelia. Thank you for this opportunity. Hello, Mr. Shirley. It's my first time on Teams, and I'm here to, as Mrs. Camelia asked me to, actually help give my some of my experience in teaching. I have always tried to be innovative, so I'll be sharing my desktop. Okay, so I'm here. Good. So do you see it? Is it okay?
Not yet. Maybe in a while. Yes.
Good. So that's fine, I bet. Good. So my experience in teaching dates to 1989. I remember the day our inspector, may he rest in peace, Mr. Mahmoud Al-Malki, barged in between brackets. I was. Is that fine?
Yeah, go on.
Okay, barged in. I was having a speaking and writing session based on a picture of a clumsy waiter in a restaurant fighting or facing his angry boss, and which I used as a prompt for speaking and writing. I was not sure about what I was doing actually, because I was told that she's Mr. Mahmoud was very traditional, and okay, he had some requirements actually. So this is what I heard say, but the reality was totally different. So which I used as a prompt for speaking and writing. The writing consisted of two parts, a narrative part and a dialogue. So I had nothing but the picture. The picture you see here.
Sorry, Mrs. Zlitni, would you move to the right side,
it's not
please?
exactly that one, okay? But I tried to have almost the same. So for the dialogue part, I used mime. Okay, two parts. One, commenting on the picture. Okay, describing the picture, describing the boss, describing the clumsy, and predicting what is happening around in the restaurant. So for the dialogue part, I opted for mime, gestures in the classroom. And I was newly graduated, so I didn't really have an idea about how things will develop or will evolve. So that is 10 minutes are left for the end of the session, and I had nothing to do. I remember that I leaned on the window and I was asking myself, what should I be doing now? 10 minutes. How can I fill them? okay? And I said, okay, I will be asking 2 students to play the dialogue. And that was the idea. The idea was a spur of the moment, okay? And I was also saying to myself, it won't work, but I had to fill those 10 minutes. So in those years, actually, and I don't know whether you know it or not, because you're younger than me, the teaching method and strategies were the same everywhere. That is, we were all teaching the same way, exchanging lesson plans, and sometimes teachers work with the same in 3 or 4 different schools. So the word innovation did not really apply to teaching. And I decided that I was not going to do it that way, okay? And the reaction, actually, the inspector's reaction triggered all what was to come afterwards, okay? So I started teaching otherwise. Hello? Hello?
Yes, we can
Do
hear
you
you.
hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, so I started teaching otherwise. Having taught in different schools with children from different backgrounds, the greatest challenge was to adapt the materials at hand to the students' standards and needs. And that was crucial to me. That is, I couldn't teach if I didn't have in mind the social, family, financial, and everything about my students, so as to make them feel at ease in the classroom, help them cope with their challenges outside the school, to be able to come in a better mood, ready to learn. Okay, so I always make sure I use the materials like language tasks, texts, and visuals in a totally different way, rebuilding my strategies and techniques so that the lessons, and I have been teaching for 32 years now, and I am still redoing my lesson plans. I never use an old one that is not for the same, that is not for different classes and not for different years. So I make sure the lessons become learner-centered, motivating, and above all, enhance collaborative learning. So, for instance, I would ask students to work in pairs. Deal with language tasks. Then, instead of correcting it the usual way, I would ask 2 students to perform a role play. I don't know whether it is the same as the magnificent Mrs. Monet, an interview, a conversation about the topic idea of the task with an emphasis on the grammar point. Now, another way I would handle the reading comprehension task is to have the students read the text, deal with the questions in groups, and check them out in groups. Then one student plays the role of the narrator, for example. He goes to the board and gets ready to answer his peers' questions. If he gets stuck, which happens very often, and this is the fun of the story, the funny part of it actually, he will give up his place to another student from another group. So there will be sort of competition actually between the groups, and sort also of jealousy between the groups. It enhances memorization, which is good. Also, within the group, while dealing with the task, the students will be aware that they will be facing this challenge, so they will be doing their best to deal with the task, so to answer the questions the way they should benefit the whole class, okay? The rest of the other groups. Now, is it fun? I dare say yes, because I already experienced it with my my students. Engaging, yes. Boost collaborative learning, definitely yes. I move on to the next slide. which is the use of ICT in the classroom. And this maybe will surprise you because we started using ICT, say, 10 to 12 years ago. So my experience with ICT in the classroom was limited to the use of the PC and the video projector. And I was happy to do that. For some video or PowerPoint presentation, essentially to provide some background knowledge about a specific topic. So it was not actually aimed at making the work collaborative or at engaging the students. I have to confess, okay? So I never thought of student engagement or collaborative learning when I used those tools, even though on 2 specific occasions I had to give a demonstration lesson about test correction, during which students were invited to use the PC and made decisions about the suitable changes to be made. Okay. At that time, I had a vague idea about interactive learning, flipped classrooms, and hybrid learning. They seemed so impossible, actually, to apply in an ordinary classroom setting. I certainly knew the concepts and maybe taught them to my students, but I never had the experience. Perhaps like most of us, I don't know, old teachers, I thought it was time consuming. I never saw the worth of it. Okay. Now, a crucial date. Wednesday, March the 13th or 13th of March 2019, I had to give a demonstration lesson, test correction, and that changed my mind about the way I correct tests and I handle the task. Actually, it made it an enjoyable task for me, no longer a chore, because I was correcting tests for a reason. And the reason was to remedy to the weaknesses of my students and especially to focus on differentiated learning. Now, from summative to formative, okay? Flexible groups that will change according to the tasks at hand. And of course, according to their abilities and their potential. Not according to the marks, but how well or how bad they did on a specific part of the test, okay? Differentiated learning. This will go with flexible groups, and this will go also with dealing or coping with the weaknesses of the students and trying to help them get through it. Now, personalized feedback. So the feedback will go to each student, that is with his name on it. But all this was not done interactively. That is, I did it with a pen and a sheet of paper. Peer correction, which is part of the group work, and that was very important because students have to be convincing when they are spotting or putting drawing the attention of their peers to a specific mistake, and they have to convince one another that that is a mistake and this is the correct. So it is better between students, that is student than teacher students. Good. So I have a Mentimeter for you, because I'm going to move to the second part, which is the COVID-19, the confinement, and here you will find the reason why I used a blessing in disguise. Okay, so I will hand you okay, you will find here the code. If you go to mentimeter.com, okay, You just insert the code, and there you will be able to vote. Or actually, it's not voting, it is about which of the following tools have you already used. I have given you some tools. Some of them were mentioned by my colleagues in other webinars, and others we did not talk about. I'm going to talk about them today. So I should be able to see already one, okay? Is that fine? Are you on Mentimeter?
Need some time. The link is there for colleagues in the chat box. You can just click. It's provided by Mrs. Haifa Trapples.
Yes.
Thank you, Haifa. So I can see the things moving, which is good.
You can repeat the code early for some colleagues.
So I have four forms.
Code again, please. Code.
The code.
Yeah, okay, it is not multiple choice.
This is not a multiple choice, actually.
Okay.
It is voting.
Yeah.
So you can use more than one option, huh? More than one option.
I could.
Is that fine? I can see things growing, mushrooming, which is great.
I personally could click only one, not many.
Only one?
Yeah.
Yeah, me too. Only one. And I want to...
Okay, I try to fix this. It is autumn. I'm going to see if I can do it. I didn't pay attention to this one, dealing with it. Let's choose. Okay, done for you. It's okay.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, it's fine. Good, great. Things are going better now.
Mrs. Zlitni, are you still with us?
Yeah, I'm here. I am trying to, actually, I'm analyzing the results to see if I can add in bamboozle something. Wazami is okay. So I can see that so far Kahoot is topping the list. Okay. Of course, you cannot see but I'm going to share it.
You can see that.
We're not done yet, are we? I have 25 voters.
I guess that's fine. We can see that on the screen. So Kahoot 11.
13. 13.
Okay, so it's not updated, I guess.
So Padlet 9. Kahoot is climbing.
Okay, that's fine. You can
That's fine. Good.
Yes.
So I'm going to show you one activity on Microsoft Forms. I don't know why it doesn't work, but I move on to okay, here it's wood wall, because we got with Mentimeter, wood wall is not really popular among the teachers population. So wood wall, I have got here a task about employment for fourth-year students. An activity about employment, which is about matching, but you can change. That is, find the match or make a quiz. You make one activity actually, but then you can transform it into other possibilities which are offered by different templates which are offered by Wood Wall. Okay, so for example here. Hire or employ. Okay, hire or employ. So it's I don't know if you can help me. Recruit. I have to drag it here. Okay, and I submit my answer. So actually, my focus today is not Word Wall. I would go to my Padlet to show you the activities I have done with my students via Padlet. Okay, I post activities, but not regularly. Actually, I try to be cool with them, not to overload them, not overwhelm them. But from time to time, I say, okay, so here they all introduce themselves. I have an environment section, be proactive, help save the planet. Here's the project work part or column where students post their projects. Okay, of course, the title will change depending on the project. Then I post here. We have a song. I don't know if you want to discover this song, which I made thanks to.
Sorry for interrupting. Sorry, but I just can't see your screen. It's just stuck in Word Wall.
Okay, I go back to, maybe because I moved fast. I go back to.
Not at Word Wall. That's all we could see.
How can I?
Yeah, you are still on Padlet. Do you want to go back to your presentation, Mrs. Zlitni?
Okay.
No,
it's okay. It's okay. So here it is, my dashboard for Padlet.
You need to share it again.
You can't see it.
Yeah.
Your screen is not shared.
It's there. It's there.
Please do share it again.
I am sharing it, Mr. Sherny.
Maybe stop it and do it again. At times, technology.
Okay, I will.
So please. Yeah. Undo, then do it again.
Just 1 second. I am here.
Okay, there we are.
Okay, almost. Spending.
No.
Not yet.
So voila. Okay, I'm here. Is that fine?
Waiting. Yeah, waiting for your screen. Yeah. It's okay for the time being, but yeah.
We can see it.
It's okay. So here you have the Padlet.
Yes.
Where I post and the students can post their work on Padlet too. Play games, language games, Kahoot, or also go to the H5P a platform via Padlet, and they take they do tasks on the Padlet. Here is a song, which is the back to school song, a rap song. Okay, so it fits their age, which is important. That is, I'm not going to use a nursery school song. It's about it's a rap song. I go back to the Padlet and see what I can do. Other things we have done with H5P, like for example, devising tests. Okay, so mock tests with a simple content in H5P, which is fill in the blanks. Thanks to a fill in the blanks content in H5P, I was able to devise a whole test. So students will fill in. It's easy to use, very easy to use, actually. Not many functionalities, but at least you can use a video, an audio, and the students, by the end of the task, they will check their score. Okay, then I have feedback from my students and try to fix things every time something goes wrong. Okay, so now, the confinement, the lockdown, my experience with interactive, with 2.0 tools actually emerged during the confinement. So no way to give in to fear or to depression. With the help of Mrs. Camelia and our colleagues in SFAX 1, our dear inspector, Mr. Meher Siela, and our colleagues even in Qatar, Mr. Saber Al-Agharbi in Tunisia, Mrs. Mawa Tounsi. So we did a great job. They did a great job for us. So they prepared a lot of stuff for us to deal with, and it was nice to work with them and to take advantage actually of the different possibilities which were given to us. So I was acquainted with live worksheets, thanks to Mrs. Mawa and to Mrs. Sinda Triki, Quizlets, okay, Bamboozle, Kahoot, Wood War, Forms, Wakelet, where I store most of my worksheets, Padlet, and Wiser.me. Now, I want to focus on H5P. Okay, what is H5P? It's a platform which allows teachers to design interactive worksheets and include a variety of activities using audio, pictures, videos, texts, and tables. Now, to our misfortune, it has become limited, but I think 2 days ago, I went back to it and I found that column, which is the largest content in it, was reintegrated in the platform, so which was nice because it allows us to have a variety of tasks just on one on a single handout, on a single, worksheet. So easy to use, students can learn at their own pace, excellent for home assignments, okay? So I've got here, for example, I will log in. So you create your own account via your email, a password, okay? Then you log in. Are you following me?
Yes.
Yes, okay. Yes. So once logged in, you will be asked to try out H5P. There you will have a list of contents or content types, from course presentation, fill in the blanks, accordion, column. This is which I was talking about. So I will show you the column content where you can include different tasks. You have just to click add content. I go back to this. So first of all, we have to add a title, for example, okay? For example, health issues. Then I have to pick a content here, either a video, a true or false question, a summary, a multiple choice. As you can see, so a variety of not that rich, but very interesting anyway, okay? So I'll take, for example, a fill in the blanks task. I will either type or copy paste, okay? A copy paste, for example, web tools, okay? 2.0 web tools. What words do I need to highlight for it to be inserted later by students? That is, I just pick the word and insert it between two asterisks this way, okay? Web tools. Then when saving my tools, have to be etc. So I can, no matter if the text is long or short, you can use single sentences, simple sentences, or so I'll save here my work, because the problem with there's one single problem is that it does not autosave. Okay, so what is the word? Normally, I should be providing a list of words, and this is what should be done. There is no word bank in, but it is interesting. My students liked it. I check, it's okay. Now, suppose I am going to make a mistake. Instead of tools, I will have tool. I will check is wrong. So I will try again. Check back. It's okay. So is that fine? I'm going to show you one other. This is one of my first handouts on, worksheets on H5P, because I did a lot of them during the confinement. And Mrs. Camelia was encouraging me all the time. First, she said, post PDF to Padlet, but then she said, why not go to H5P? And things started to go on like that. It was funny, it was fun, and it was also rewarding to see the results. So here is lesson 10 for fourth graders, for fourth formers. It includes, so this is the warm-up part or section or stage. So the student will click here to see what kind of person he is. This song is, I should stop it. To see what personality he has. So it's about hovering, hover text, okay? Orange, energy, balance, enthusiasm. So you can pick one color and I will tell you what personality you have. It will tell you. Then I have the video, which is a song by, okay, I forgot who it is exactly. So here it's no longer available on H5P, unfortunately, but still you can replace it by fill in the blanks. That is, I will drag the words and drop them here while listening to the song, because the song will go on anyway. Okay, and you can listen to it as many times as you like. So same thing now, because why I did not vary the task, which is a bit unusual because we should be varying tasks. Why I did not do song. It's supposed to be a pleasant moment for students, not a stuffy assignment. Then answer the following questions about the mood and themes of the song. And here I have a quiz made thanks to H5P2. So the singer's vocal prowess, the melody, say the message it delivers, or all of the above. And then I check, okay? I did not check, I clicked finish, show solution. All of them are correct, okay? Because it's all of the above. And then an interpretation of the song, again, drag and drop, okay? But this is only one technique used. I will go to another technique used, I used in the last test I dealt with. Again, I go back to my account, okay, and the test I devised for first, it's a mock test I devised for first formers. Sometimes I use different platforms for one thing to test them all. So this is the test. The picture is to make the worksheet more pleasant, of course, and give an idea about the topic of the. Now, this is an audio I downloaded from it. I did not download. I copied the URL. Now, okay. Now, what is good about it that it should open in a different window for the student to listen. Now, because it not have multiple choice, so I decided to use the fill in the blanks, just type X, okay, next to the right option. Then here, true or false, say I'm going to do it at random, that is, I'm not going to check whether it is correct or not. No, it's not true or false. There are reasons. So here it is, for example, because they eat alone, if I can remember, eat alone. And for this one, the diva quit her regular job when she started making a lot of money. So I will go and add a few words here. Sometimes it is easy to worry, etc. People's opinion, it's also. So I will be checking my work. So the students see now the red boxes the student can go there and retry. Okay, it's not final, it's not the end of the word. So it's good. It's good for students who want to learn at their own pace and want to challenge themselves. And I noticed that my students do discuss the assignment in the classroom before getting in. And I ask them about how well they did, actually, because on Padlet, they do post their score. And of course, I will be dealing with the tasks online with the students having their smartphones, that is using their smartphones in the classroom. We'll be correcting the tasks together. We'll be interacting about the task, okay? Not correcting it, actually, because they already had the correction. Now, so with H5P, it is possible to test students' home assignments, assign them tasks which to be dealt with at home. You can now here for me an airbox and a smartphone opened the door of a new era in my teaching career. So I go to school with my box, with my fly box. It's important for me to connect every day, to connect my students, have them watch videos. Of course, to avoid YouTube, for example, I post the video on Padlet and ask them to watch them on their Padlet. Okay. And then I go back to my
Mrs. Zlitni. Mrs. Zlitni, would you be kind enough to wrap up your presentation so that we can leave some time for the questions?
If you don't mind, Mr. Sherni, how much time is left?
Actually,
you're done. Oh.
Okay, let's say try to wrap up if you could do it.
Okay, I'll go to Wiser Me straight away.
Yeah.
Okay. And I will show you, because Wiser Me really deserves a tour. Okay.
Could you do it in around 5 minutes, Mrs.
Yeah. I will show you the tasks I dealt with on Wiser Me. Do you see my screen?
Yeah, we can see it. Yeah, it's there.
Good. So okay, so this is fun. It is a vocabulary, dealing with vocabulary task lesson to first formers. So they will enjoy it, and at the same time they will review their vocabulary. So it's light. Then matching exercise. I have here sort out pictures and expressions. Okay. Then let's look at the list of functionalities present in Wiser Me. Open, as you can see, open question, multiple choice, blanks, fill in an image, matching, etc. Yesterday I discovered this one because it was locked actually. It was for premium users. So the other, I go back to my dashboard and I will pick one with which my students I have assigned to my students, and they handed out their task, and I send them feedback after correcting the task. Okay, so it's this one. We've made it to the top. So the students, I'll go to answers, because in answers I will find my students' handouts. What is nice about Wiser Me, really it deserves a tour, because so here I have the list of students. Okay, this one was handed out by Yasin, okay, and I corrected it. If it is not correct, that is, if there are mistakes, or if, for example, here she left school at 18, I might accept it as an acceptable answer. So I do this, and then the grade changes automatically, and I send the feedback to the student. Okay. Now, when you devise a worksheet via Wiser.me, you can, it's like this one, you can set differentiation rules for you, for your students, for the worksheets to change actually according to your students' standards. Okay, so if I want to assign to learners, I have to go to the link. Okay, I would copy the link and send it to my students or post it to my Padlet. Okay, we're here. Look at this part of the screen. Create first differentiation rule. Okay, I will name it, for example, okay, I will name it, I don't know, strength. Okay, and any rule which you set for your students. Then I will have to add a filter. Okay, it can be average score, it can be challenge, passion, or preference. Okay, and this is what is amazing. This is what I was saying, is that with Wiser.me, you are able to interact with your students and have them send them feedback, have them also work in the right on the right worksheet which corresponds to their standards. Okay, thank you. I'm sorry for having been so long. Okay.
Okay, it's okay. Thank you so much. That's really impressive.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Effort.
Thank you.
Have some colleagues raising
Mrs.
hand.
Zurgari?
Yes,
Mrs.
please.
Zurgari.
Yes, please.
Let me first thank Mrs. Zlitni. She's really a perfect example for all teachers. This shows that age has nothing to do with numbers.
It's never too late to learn.
As I said, she's a good example, and she's still young in her thinking, in her use of technology. So hats off, and thank you for all the work you are doing.
Mr. Shani, thank you.
If you allow me, Mrs. Zurgari, and I'm going to give the platform to our colleague, Mr. Kamal Sheikh, and then our colleague, Mr. Meher Siela. Okay. Mr. Meher Siela, are you there?
Yes, I am. Hi,
sorry, would love to hear for the time being from Mr. Kamal, who is going to say a few words, but they are very important. Mr. Kamal?
Hello, everybody. Can you hear me?
Hello.
Is that fine?
Hello.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to this session, to this webinar, the third webinar. Welcome to all the participants, and many thanks for our two presenters for the invaluable content that has been presented so far. Now, actually, I needed to pay tribute to one of our colleagues mentioned by the last speaker, Mrs. Zlitni, Aida, Mr. Mahmoud al-Maliki, Rabbi yarhamou. So
may he rest in peace.
May his soul rest in peace.
Allah yarhamou, yes.
That's it. That's what I wanted. Second, I actually wanted to welcome our dear guests, Mr. Meher Siala and Mr. Mohammed Swisi. I can see his name. Are you there, Mr. Mohammed Swisi?
Yes, yes, I am.
Hello, Mr. Mohammed Swisi. It's our pleasure to have you among us tonight, actually. Most welcome. We are pleased to have you. We haven't seen you.
Thank you. Thank you very much indeed.
Welcome, Si Mohammed, and welcome, Si Maher.
Thank you. Thank you.
Maher, before I just pass the mic to you, Si Maher, I need to make another comment, if you don't mind, briefly. and I'm going to speak for some of the participants. I'm sure that they share this attitude and they have some kind of worries. They are worried a little bit, some of them, I say, because not all of them are really skilled and experts in the field of using technology. But I'm going to send some words of optimistic words actually to them. And I'd start with the idea that there is no such thing as perfectly creative or non-creative teacher. In my opinion, and I'm referring to some literature here and some people who said this, that all teachers can have different ways of spicing up their teaching. So you might have different ways in dealing with your students and your lessons, and just keep this kind of hope and never feel that the train is moving that fast and you will never be able to catch it. You will. I'm sure that with some time allocated for every specific software program or platform mentioned by our presenters today, just allocate some time for that and you will be able to catch up with the other passengers, between inverted commas. And keeping things now, not all teachers have different ways, I'd say. But the most important thing, and this is the rationale behind holding these events, the rationale is that we want to build this large community of teachers who share their attitudes, who share their experiences. And I hope that each one of you, our dear participants, dear attendees, will participate in our future events. So I don't want to monopolize the speech, and I will just give the floor to my colleague Simeher to say a couple of things. Welcome.
Okay. Now, thank you, Mr. Kamal. I'm going to talk about 5 things. The first one, I'd like to say that I'm proud of Mrs. Aida and all her colleagues who have done a great job. I name, yes, thank you. I name Mrs. Sunda, Mrs. Marwa, Mrs. Fatma, Mrs. Dalila, Mrs. Najat, and many others. Now, the second thing, I'd like to thank Si Mohammed Swisi, and without him, our nice project about being competent in ICT would have never happened. Now, during the lockdown period, Mr. Mohammed Swisi has done a great job. He has helped many teachers to embark on a very nice project, which is ICT and the different uses of ICT and the different really platforms, namely Zoom. Now, the third thing, the project we started in March, I mean, was very fruitful, and by July 2020, 5 of us, or maybe 6, participated in an international seminar or webinar. I mean, it was held in Oman. It was held in Oman, and many teachers, even Sabr Agribi, who is working in Qatar and who is a member of our team, has done a great job, and all the teachers have done a great job, including Aida and including Sunda and Marwa, and 4 other teachers. Now, I would say that using modern technology, using ICT, makes us closer to our learners. Hey, are you listening?
Yeah, we are all ears, Simeher.
All right.
Go ahead.
So we are closer to our learners.
We hear, Mr. Mayor.
This is something important. Now, The whiteboard and the chalk are necessary, but we have to cope with the new innovations. And our learners will love us more and will be more motivated if they feel that we are updated. And this is important. I would add that the teachers are creative if they work in a team, and the teamwork has been very fruitful. Now we have got a private Facebook page, and all of them are contributing and are adding very nice things. So teamwork encourages everybody to work more. And from time to time, there are ups and downs, and without the group, we cannot really resist and move forward. Just one single thing to add. I am happy with this great performance, but the most important thing is that we also encourage the learners to be more fluent. This is important because if the learners have the ability to use modern technology and be more and more fluent, that will be a great job. I thank you all. I thank my dear colleagues, Mrs. Camelia, Sila Habib, Si Kamel. I also thank Lama. I thank Si Mohammed Swisi. I think Si Abdallah Al-Orf, who is, a friend, and we have been working together for so many years. So to all of you, I would say that I have been enjoying what you are doing. Good luck to all.
Thank you, Mr.
Meher. Thank you.
Yeah, Mrs.
Abdullah, if Si Abdullah wants to say a word, please do. Welcome.
Hello.
I'd like to ask you if you could really listen to Si Mohammed, because he is probably the most experienced among our group.
Yes, sure. Okay, Si Abdullah, then Si Mohammed, because I think that he unmuted his mic. Si Abdullah, then Si Mohammed, if you don't mind.
Okay, hello.
Hello.
Hi, welcome.
Okay, I'd like to thank you all, Mr. Kamel.
Yes, please.
Si Meher, Mr. Habib, Madam Zurgati, Madam Atwi.
Thank you.
I'm glad to be here with you.
Welcome.
You know, I'm not tech savvy, but I am trying to learn from my colleagues.
Pleased to have you, Mangas. Welcome.
Thank you all. Thank you very much.
Over to see Mohammed Suisi, please.
So maybe Mr. Suisi is having some technical issues. Mrs. Lamel Atwi wanted to say something. So, Mrs. Lamel, are you with us?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you very well. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so thank you very much to our speakers. Thank you to your colleagues, Mr. Meher, Mr. Suisi. We're pleased to have you with us today. It's been really wonderful webinar, and looking forward to seeing you again next time. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mrs. Atwi. Maybe Mr. Suisi, are you still with us? Okay, if anytime you feel ready, Mr. Suisi, so please do tell us via the chat box if you can maybe fix the technical issues. So Mrs. Camelia Zurgari, do you think that we still have some time for some questions related to the second presentation? Mrs. Zurgari? Again, Mrs. Zergari is not with us. So I have a question for from Mrs. Ahlem from the chat box. She is asking, can we consider activities designed with H5P and Wiser Me as part of formative assessment? Can you answer this, Mrs.?
Yeah, definitely. Yes, definitely. That is, I think it's the most formative. That is the best of it. Okay, that is when assigning this to the students, then somehow you're building sort of a flipped classroom, and you're already sending that to your students. You're interacting with them in the sense that you're going to feed them back with correct their assignment, and you have your own feedback, that is the feedback about your what went wrong, what was good about the lesson, something which you failed maybe, or something which was well done by you, not by the students. Okay, so here it's important to note that I was say hilarious out of I was happy, and I even started jumping when I found I discovered Wiser Me, because I found Wiser Me, but I discovered it yet actually. Okay, so you can do whatever you like with Wiser Me to benefit your students and benefit your teaching activity.
Great. Yeah, thank you. What about, are there any more questions? I can see maybe there's a question from Mrs. Marawi.
Yes, I'm here.
Yeah, do you have a question for Mrs. Aida Zlitni?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
So I'm referring to Wiser Me here. The list of pupils. I mean, the list of pupils. Do you prepare, or do you, before setting the?
No.
Do you prepare the list of pupils, or how do you manage with having the list of pupils in the Wiser Me activity?
Okay, so it is very easy. You've got nothing to do, absolutely nothing. You just prepare your worksheet, send the or post the link. Students access it. Okay. And of course, they will be requested to sign up to Wiser Me via mail. So and write their names. So the names list will appear by itself. I didn't add any names at all.
You mean you have the link? Maybe you have a messenger group with your students, and you send them the link.
I have Padlet. I post everything on Padlet.
Okay, so
I don't want to. I have nothing against Messenger, but I don't want to. I want to leave it private. That is, I don't want to have my students with me on Messenger. But the idea is not a bad either. Okay. That is teachers who do this. They do it, and they know that it's good too.
The pupils need to sign up to Wiser Me so that they can answer the worksheet.
They are not actually, they will ask you if you're a student or a teacher. That is, you're not going to fill out a whole form. Just your name, maybe your name and your email, not even your email. I think as long as you are a student, it's a very good question, because I did not ask my students about it. But what I know is that the list of names appeared by itself. I did not any names at all.
Okay, thank you very much. Very interesting.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Mrs. Zlitni, for this clarification. Maybe one last question from Mrs. Sarah Jayden. Please try to be concise and precise.
Okay, thank you. I just want to say hello to Aida, if you remember me. We graduated in the same year about l'École Normale. Do you remember me?
Maybe you've changed.
Long time ago. So I was happy to see you
I'm
again.
glad to hear from you. Okay.
Yeah. Just one precise question. In slide 6, you mentioned formative and summative assessment.
Yeah.
I think that some formative comes before summative, but you did the opposite direction, I think.
No. Actually, I was expecting this question.
Yeah.
Now, what we did, what the inspector, Mr. Mohammed Merdesi, wanted me to do, he said 2 words. Okay. I want you to do a demonstration lesson about test correction, and I want you to convert the summative test into a formative one. Okay, so there were 2 words which were, as you just mentioned it, totally okay, that is nothing to do with the one with the other. Summative is summative and formative is formative, but you're going to use that test actually to have students learn from it, so it will become formative. It's not just about correcting the items which are in the test, okay? You are going to develop a whole process of learning through that particular test.
Okay. One last point. I think, as I noticed, Wiser Me, you need to subscribe with $3 a month, which does not apply in Tunisia.
No,
how did you do that?
It's free. Wiser Me is included in Microsoft.
Okay.
So if you have a free 365 Office 365, then automatically you are subscribed to Wiser Me and all the other tools, Forms and all the rest.
Yeah, and talking about ILCT in schools, if
Mrs. Sarah Jayden, sorry to interrupt you. Okay. You've raised the point, and because of the time constraints, so I'm going to answer your question. So Mrs. Zlitni asked you about the account 365 account. So the Ministry of Education and CNTO exactly is offering all teachers a free account. So I think we're going to share in the U-innovate Facebook group the link to get to fill in the form and get 365, the Office 365. Sorry not to give you maybe more time to ask more questions. I think Mrs. Bouhlel, are you still with us?
Yes, I'm here.
Yeah, thank you for staying with us. We didn't forget those 3 questions. Do you still remember them? Before I give the floor to Mrs. Zogari to wrap up this session and we say good night to all of you.
So in 1 minute, so I'll be very quick.
Let me remind you of them if you...
Mrs. Walhazi, I believe she asked me about to catch the ball game.
Yeah, good. And the second one was about?
How are these practices impacting your own profile?
Perfect. Yeah, and the third one was?
Yeah, in fact, about catch my ball, of course, I did teach them the elements of a story. I said we dealt with Shakespeare, and I also taught them some short stories that we did in class. We talked about the elements of a story, the introduction, the climax, the problem solving, and everything, the resolution. And I think they were ready to play such a game. I think they were. Concerning my profile, of course, I think that now I am enjoying my work better. It's not just working for salary. I think that teaching is art. It's kind of spicing up my work. And it also helped me broaden my perspective of the job.
Yeah.
Our third question was, I think Mrs. Bushra asked, she was teaching in technical school, am I right?
Yeah, in ESP.
How can I involve?
She asked about mechanical engineering, something like that.
Yeah. So I don't know what kind of students she's talking about, but maybe I think that gamifying does wonders in class. So if students are engaged in games, they will get interested. All right, and they will raise a brow, if you like, they will ask question, what is the game about? So and sometimes you can also personify the game. You know, the letters that about environment, when I distributed letters to the students, I wrote down their own names at home, okay, on the envelope, and I distributed the envelopes, and every student was so eager to know what's inside the envelope because it was for him. So maybe personifying the game can help engage the students. I hope I was able to answer these questions.
Thank you, Mrs. Bouhlel.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
I think you stated it clearly that the use of technology has a positive impact on you, on your profile as a teacher, and on your students, and it really does for all teachers. But this does not mean that teachers who have low tech in their classrooms are not creative. It's the opposite. Teachers can be creative wherever they are and whatever the tools, with very simple tools, as Mr. Kamal Sheikh has mentioned earlier, they can be creative and innovative. Mrs. Camelia, are you there to wrap up this session? Mrs. Zorgari?
Yes, here I am. Okay. Well, I'd just like to thank everyone. I mean, all participants, speakers, and guests, mainly Mr. Vandal, Mr. Meher, Mr. Sfisi. Okay, thank you very much for the speakers, for the amazing work. That was really impressive. I personally learned a lot, okay, from the creative ideas that Mrs. Muna has presented, and from Mrs. Ida as well, mainly Wiser Me. I've never used that tool actually, and I am really impressed by the functionalities provided, like differentiated tasks and feedback and collaboration and interaction with the students. That is really an amazing tool, and I will certainly try that, and I'm sure many colleagues will do the same. Okay, I appreciate you being here with us. Thank you for joining us, and see you next time. I mean, next month with different speakers and different topics in the next webinar. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Mrs. Zorgari. Before we leave, before we leave, let me remind you that I've just shared a link to a quiz. Please do fill in that quiz if you'd like to get a certificate of attendance. We're going also to share this quiz in our Facebook group, U-innovate for ELTs. If things go as expected or as planned, we're going to share a recorded version of this webinar in our Facebook group. Thank you for being with us. Thank you for spending around 2 hours sharing your expertise, sharing your experiences. All of us have certainly learned a lot from each other, and this is something great. Thank you all for being
Thank you.
Thank you all for being with us. Good night. See you in the upcoming webinars.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. See you.
Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.
Thank you.